What's up guys, welcome back again to another tutorial. Today we're gonna take a look at night photography and more especially long exposure. I'm gonna teach you all my tips and tricks to get pretty awesome long exposure photos. So without further ado, let's roll the intro. So the first thing we're gonna take a look at right now is actually a pretty simple thing, the gear.
That is not a guy that I would ever want to try to battle rap.
Obviously, to take good long exposure photo, we're gonna need three things. First, a tripod. Then, a camera with a low f-stop lens such as 2.8 or 1.8. And then, obviously, a great location where there's a lot of cars or basically anything that create lights. Okay, right now, let's get to the location. Like I already told you, you need to have a pretty cool location where there's a ton of cars or trucks or basically a bridge that makes lights, or like I just told you, anything that's create lights in order to get cool trails when you do a long exposure shot. So that's one of my favorite spots to take long exposure photo, because that's actually 2-3 minutes away from my home, and there's a pretty easy access to a little vantage point where you can take awesome photos. So right now what I'm doing is taking out my little tripod and just putting it above the ramp to see all the roads, all the cars over the bridge. The second thing we're gonna do is, well, put our camera in shutter priority to control the shutter speed of it. To get a good amount of trails in your photo, you're gonna need a pretty long shutter speed, so maybe around 15 seconds or 10 seconds, depending on how many you want, but actually the best settings would be 115, 120. So I'm gonna put the ISO around 200 to don't have any noise in my image. Then my shutter speed, like I told you, around 115, 120. And then I'm just gonna take a snap to see how the photo looks. If you don't know what a 115 or 120 shutter speed means, well, it just depends on how long the sensor is gonna be open. So if your sensor is open for 20 seconds, during this 20 seconds, all the lights coming through is gonna be catched by the sensor, and that's what's creating all this light trails effect. So now what we need to do is just basically wait until nighttime to get the perfect shot. So if we take a look at the photos I just snapped, well, the first one is gonna be a shutter speed of 120, 130, almost the longest you can have on the camera. But yeah, that was a pretty cool shot because there's a lot of light trails, a lot of cars were coming in, sorry. But yeah, that was a pretty cool epic photo. And then the second one, the last one I took actually, is a shutter speed around 1.8, 1.10, so maybe around 5 to 10 seconds of sensor opening. As you can see, the trails are a bit shorter, so that's why there's less trails and more like a movement flow of cars and not trails. So that's about it guys, we're already done. So hope you enjoyed this little episode about long exposure photography. If you want to know more about all photography, how to edit photos, basically anything that's around photography, well, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. So that's about it guys, hope you enjoyed this episode, and as usual, have a good one. Peace.